What if your teenage dream became a living nightmare? Justin Bieber's meteoric rise to fame seemed like every kid's fantasy: global stardom, screaming fans, and unimaginable wealth. But behind the glitz was a darker reality: exploitation by adults, relentless hatred, and a spiral into chaos that nearly destroyed him. Let's dive into how Justin's fairy tale career turned into a nightmare. The origin dates back to Justin being 12 and discovered on YouTube, with his raw talent stealing everyone else's attention. Overnight, the country kid became a global sensation with some chart-topping hits and a fan base worshipping him. Not that fame so early in life was cheap. Some cracks started to appear in his story very soon. Once thrust into the limelight, the big guns of the industry, Usher and Scooter Braun, came in to make sure he was propelled to dizzying heights where the name Justin Bieber had become a household name. But here's where it gets messy. They did not protect him from the pitfalls of fame. By the time he was 12 or 13, Justin was already smoking weed, almost immediately graduating to heavier stuff like codeine cough syrup to numb the unbearable pressure of fame. The use of drugs by this teenager was so awful that his security men would sneak at night into his bedroom to monitor his pulse to make sure he was still alive. Can you even imagine being a teenager and having the whole world out there at your feet, but being so lost that your life hangs in the balance? The chaos didn't stop there. Justin was caught on camera by an MS-13 gang member at Young's Market, a sketchy spot on the corner of Western and Santa Monica. What was a global pop star doing in such a rough area? The incident sparked wild speculation, but at the time, many brushed it off. After all, Justin had it all: money, fame, and adoration. How bad could his life be? But over the past decade, the public's view has shifted. What once seemed like harmless fan frenzy now feels deeply unsettling, especially when you look at how adults around him behaved. The examples are chilling. In 2010, a Grammy reporter grilled 15-year-old Justin about sex, ignoring his visible discomfort. A year later, 33-year-old James Corden gushed over how good Justin smelled, even touching his face during an interview. On The Talk, 41-year-old Leah Remini pressed 17-year-old Justin about performing naked, dismissing his protest that it was inappropriate for his young fans. Julie Chen, also 41, asked which co-host he'd date. In 2012, 28-year-old Katy Perry grabbed Justin's butt during a hug, while David Letterman berated him over a tattoo, trying to wipe it off. At the AMAs, 40-year-old Jenny McCarthy grabbed Justin's throat, kissed him and groped him, later bragging about her cougar moment. Perhaps the worst came when 56-year-old Ellen DeGeneres broadcast a paparazzi photo of 20-year-old Justin's private parts, mocking it on air. Time and again, Justin called out these adults for crossing lines, saying their actions made him uncomfortable. Time and again, he was ignored. It's heartbreaking to see a teenager forced to be the voice of reason in a world of adults who should have known better. If the inappropriate behavior from adults wasn't enough, Justin Bieber faced another brutal battle: the internet. As a child star, he lived in a world with no middle ground. You either adored him or despised him with a passion. The hatred was relentless, turning Justin into a punching bag for jokes, slurs, and vicious content that flooded every corner of pop culture. Imagine being a teenager, barely able to process your fame, while millions openly mocked or wished harm on you. This toxic dichotomy between love and cruelty became a nightmare that likely fueled his struggles with mental health and substance abuse. The internet was a breeding ground for anti-Justin sentiment. YouTube comments, TV shows, political speeches, and even movies piled on, with homophobic slurs trailing him like a shadow. Hating Justin became a cultural phenomenon, a surefire way for content creators to rack up views. Videos titled "Why I Hate Justin Bieber" or memes mocking his every move went viral, amassing millions of clicks. It wasn't just random trolls. Mainstream media joined in. His cameo in CSI ended with him being shot and killed. In Zoolander 2, his character met the same fate. South Park had its character slaughtered by Cthulhu, while Family Guy showed him beaten unconscious by Peter Griffin. Even Andy Samberg got in on the act, creating an entire movie, Pop Star, that mercilessly parodied Justin's life. The message was clear. Mocking Justin wasn't just acceptable, it was profitable. But the hatred didn't stop at jokes or scripted deaths. A chilling subculture emerged in the form of flash games designed to let players live out violent fantasies against Justin. Games like Happy Wheels featured tens of thousands of user-created levels dedicated to killing him, racking up millions of views. Titles like Hurt Ragdoll Bieber, Throw Bieber, and Bieber Kicker invited players to torture a virtual Justin, with one game alone clocking over 300,000 plays. A sequel even boasted better blood physics to enhance the experience. It's hard to fathom the impact of knowing that millions were gleefully simulating your death while you were still a teenager trying to navigate fame. This wasn't just bullying. It was a global pile-on that normalized cruelty toward a kid. The hatred even spilled into real life, crossing a terrifying line. Authorities uncovered a murder-for-hire plot where two hitmen were hired to kill Justin after committing murders in Vermont. The plot was foiled, but the fact that someone went to such lengths underscores the dangerous intensity of the anti-Bieber frenzy. On one side, Justin faced adults crossing boundaries, making inappropriate comments, and groping him in public. On the other hand, he was bombarded with mockery, violent fantasies, and even death threats. This stark contrast, half the world obsessing over him, the other half wishing him dead, created a pressure cooker that no teenager could escape unscathed. It's no wonder Justin turned to drugs to cope. His mental health was battered by a world that refused to see him as human. The internet didn't just hate Justin Bieber. It turned him into a symbol of everything people love to destroy. Reeling from public hatred and personal demons, Justin Bieber turned to religion for salvation, finding solace in Hillsong Church under the guidance of Pastor Carl Lentz. Desperate for peace after years of exploitation and addiction, Justin dove headfirst into the megachurch's world, hoping it would be the refuge he needed. But what seemed like a lifeline quickly became another chapter in his nightmare, raising questions about whether the church exploited his fame as much as the industry had. Justin wasn't just a casual member. He was all in, attending services, joining the Hillsong conference, and becoming a poster child for the church's trendy, celebrity-friendly vibe. Hillsong seemed to revel in his star power, using his endorsement to boost their global brand. But the real red flags came with his unusually close bond with Carl Lentz. The two were spotted together constantly, far beyond church walls, go-karting, hitting recording studios, even taking shots at a bar in New Zealand. In 2014, Justin stayed at Carl's Montclair, New Jersey home to detox from Xanax and a reported sex addiction after being seen drinking alone at a North Hollywood gay bar. Their relationship took an even stranger turn when a video surfaced of them getting cozy in a pool, sparking wild speculation about what was going on. The weirdness hit a peak during a Hillsong conference interview that's now infamous for its bizarre energy. Justin and Carl, visibly wired, derailed the conversation to obsess over their off-white outfits, shouting out designer Virgil Abloh. In a surreal moment, Justin pulled out a toothbrush, started brushing his teeth, and then rested his head on Carl's shoulder, saying he just wanted to love Carl more. The rest of the interview was a chaotic mix of luxury brand hype, mom talk, and vague church references, leaving viewers baffled. The clip went viral, with many questioning whether they were even sober. Soon after, Justin canceled a massive 16-month, six-continent tour, first blaming fatigue, then crediting Carl for redirecting his life to Christ. TMZ reported Justin saw Carl as a second father, a bond that seemed to anchor him until it didn't. The cracks appeared in 2018 when Justin proposed to Hailey Bieber, and he and Carl suddenly stopped appearing together. By 2020, Hillsong fired Carl after uncovering multiple extramarital affairs, with one affair partner slamming the church as a money machine. In 2021, Justin publicly distanced himself from Hillsong, accusing Carl of using his fame to boost his profile. The 2022 documentary, Hillsong Exposed, blew the lid off the church's dark side, side, revealing sexual misconduct, celebrity obsession, and abuse. In 2024, Carl admitted he'd been battling addictions to prescription meds and sex during his time with Justin, mirroring the very struggles Justin sought to escape. Justin's journey with Hillsong is a tragic twist in an already painful story. Skyrocketing to fame, he faced inappropriate advances from adults, vicious public hatred, and a drug spiral that nearly killed him. Turning to Hillsong for healing, he instead found a church that leveraged his celebrity while its leader, a man he trusted like family, wrestled with his demons. The refuge Justin craved became just another exploitation, leaving him to navigate a world that repeatedly failed to protect him. That's the heartbreaking story of Justin Bieber's nightmare. What do you think about his journey? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more shocking stories.